Welcome to Oshkosh's EAA. Enjoy the videos and subscribe.
It was the first three-time consecutive national aerobatic champion.
You know, I've only been in aviation for about 2 years. I didn't grow up around it, but the reason I'm here in aviation and I'm here at air shows with my stepdad and my mom is because of this Corsair right here. I fell in love with her, and I hope I get to fly her one day. And I pretty much will do whatever it takes in order for me to get in this cockpit right here. So me being a female, I don't really see myself as any different as anyone else.
I'm just happy to be here, and you know.
You guys figure it out.
Did your dad teach you how to fly the plane yet?
No, I'm not a pilot yet. Ask me in about a year or two.
I will.
Yeah, come back and ask me.
Have you, what did you begin with? Did you begin with anything yet?
No, so I've only been in aviation for about 2 years. I'm actually going to school at Embry-Riddle in Prescott, Arizona. So I'm going for my aviation business. I'm getting my bachelor's right now. That comes first. So once I get my bachelor's, I'll graduate May 2020, and then I'll pursue flying. So that's why I say ask me about a year or two. I'm trying to figure that all out right now.
Sure.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Imagine soloing in a Corsair. That would be sweet. Wouldn't that be?
That would be amazing. Yeah. You have to have a lot of hours though before you solo in something.
He had about 1,500 hours in a T6 before he went into the Corsair here.
Yeah.
And his dad his dad was a pilot. He flew this Corsair. They restored it together. He did an outline of what he needed to do or know prior to flying it, and wouldn't let him fly it until he completed certain tasks.
Right.
So yeah, he had about 1,500 hours before he went into the Corsair, and he's talked about the story, his first time taking off and landing the Corsair for the first time and the second time, and he said he described it as a hellacious experience from taking off full throttle all the way forward and taking off, he's doing all this stuff, gear up, you know, all this stuff, and once he got into the air, it was just smooth sailing, and then when he came to land, smooth. And he's like, oh, this had to be a fluke or something. So he went around, did it again, a hellacious, 30 seconds. Once he went into the air, it was nice and smooth. And then when it came to land, it was smooth. And that's how he described his first experience flying it for the first time. Yeah.
Now in training in World War II, this had a reputation that was called the Ensign Eliminator. Yeah, because it wasn't very forgiving. If you didn't really know what you were doing, it could turn on you in a hurry, especially on takeoff, where that torque might flip this plane over, and then you're in trouble.
Yep.
But Pappy Boyington of Baa Black Sheep fame said that when he started to fly this, and he had flown the P-40 before that, and the P-39, which he said was a dog, absolute terrible plane, he said that this was the sweetest flying baby he'd ever flown. It's just like, when it climbed, it was like it wanted to go back up with the angels. And that was what he described, and
that's really nice.
Once I read that, I said, oh man, I got to find out more about this plane. So I've been brushing up on this since basically the early 60s.
There you go.
I've only been around this plane for the last 2 years, like I said. I haven't really been around for too long. I mean, he's been flying it since the 80s. But this gentleman right here, I met him at Oshkosh last year, and he came up to the plane. I recognized him right away, and I know he knows a lot about this plane. So he knows more than I know. So that's why I was like, "You take it away, man. I'm still trying to learn." So there you go.
I just love the plane, and I love her. She's my friend because she let me get up on the cockpit once, and I almost fell down the wing, and it was embarrassing, and I almost ended up on my.
I was like, oh, I thought we were gonna get squished.
We can reconstruct it right now.
Yeah. Oh no.
It's very, very dangerous. I really don't like letting people up there. He doesn't either.
Yeah.
Because he has fallen off of this. I have not yet fallen off of it, and I don't want to, and I don't want anyone else to. So
right, it's very dangerous. Yeah, and I wouldn't advise it for anyone.
If we had a ladder, it'd be different.
Yeah.
But we don't have a ladder.
Speak to the most unique history of the plane.
Most unique history?
What part is made out of wood.
Oh,
Well-
I know from this area right here. I'm pretty sure this is made out of wood. This is on a wingspan, especially the tips.
Right, the panels were originally made out of wood, and the ailerons were fabric covered.
Yeah, which they're not fabricated now.
Right.
That would just
Right.
get blown off and destroyed.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
And then what about the different versions? Like which version of this of the Corsair is it?
This is the Dash 4. So this was in 1945 is when it was built. It's one of the best variations. You mean you got the Dash 1, 2, all the way up to Dash 7, and out of all of them, this is the one that you want to have. That's just from what I heard from the other Corsair pilots who have other variations. They all say that the Dash 4 was probably...
Yeah, it was the most numerous by the end of the war, and it was probably the best known and the best, you know, more examples of it. And there are probably more examples that exist. The 7 and the 5, you know, those were basically Korean War vintage, and the mission was different. This was air to air, but the 5 and the 7 were more like ground attack. They had more hard points underneath the wings for more bombs and whatnot. This is actually a pretty accurate dive bomber too. So if you had squadrons of these on carriers, you didn't necessarily need Dauntlesses and Helldivers, because the accuracy on these things were amazing, especially if you know, dropped the landing gear enough and had it trailing behind. And you'll see some video from the Korean War where they were actually trailing their gear for greater accuracy, and then they dropped napalm or a bomb with an incredible accuracy. So plane was just an amazing aircraft.
Hey guys, Jules here. So this plane behind me is the F4U-4 Corsair. It was built and made in 1945. This plane is owned by my stepdad, Jim. He flies the Corsair here at Oshkosh. He'll be flying today at 3:30. Getting ready to probably put some oil here in a little bit. And it's pretty simple. This plane doesn't really take a whole lot. There's a couple key points you want to look out for, but otherwise she's a pretty simple lady.
There you go.